Yeah, what do you do for a living out here in Puerto Rico?
I'm the Wi-Fi cowboy. I do hundreds of millions a year on the internet.
What's the most amount of money you made in a single day?
$30 motherfucking million. And the crazy part is, I'm realizing at 32, that ain't that much money.
What's your best piece of business advice?
Hire the most autistic person that you fucking know.
All right, Rob, what do you think about the tipping culture?
$250 bill, $250 tip. You get what you give. Period.
What's the easiest way to make money in 2025?
Obviously, I do the TikTok thing.
Why do you think so many people just have a hard time getting started and taking that first leap?
Look at this.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Is this your house?
How'd you get in here?
Oh, security let me in. Is that cool? Yeah.
What?
I go all over the world and I spend the day with the most successful people.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was wondering if I could spend the day with you, if you got time.
I mean, I guess you're all the way here. Why not?
Yeah, what do you do for a living out here in Puerto Rico?
Oh, I'm the Wi-Fi cowboy. I do hundreds of millions a year on the internet.
Hundreds of millions?
Hundreds of millions.
Okay, I spend the day with you?
Yeah, come on. Let's hop on my golf cart.
Okay, let's go. All right, Rob, what do you think about the tipping culture?
Bottom line, you get what you give. And I don't think enough people are bought in on that. You know, all these mindfulness meditations, all this stuff. Tipping 100% on a bill is going to do more for you in real life than any of that other shit. $250 bill, $250 tip.
That's crazy. Let's see, show it.
$500, $9, $85. Plus, if you ever need a reservation or like you want to be treated right, you're good. No, I live like this, for real. Like that's what got me this watch. That's what got me this life. You get what you give, period. And you got to be willing to give way more than you expect to receive. Like if you're doing it from like a bad place and it's not just habit, it won't come around.
So it comes right back to you.
Abundance.
Abundance mindset.
Period.
That's what they call him, Mr. Oliver.
Amen.
I like that. If you lost everything, could you make it back?
In a year.
In a year. How would you?
I mean, I get to keep the knowledge.
Yeah.
I just see things so much different at 32 years old. You look for the right opportunities, like gold rush opportunities, what I call them. Like, where's all the money being made? Usually, where are all the young, I don't want to call them stupid, but where are all the young, unexperienced kids getting rich? And if you look at TikTok, you go into that with practical business experience, you learn to bring some sort of enterprise value to that world, and you can print. And that's really the game. We live in this beautiful system of capitalism and economic prosperity where business is a vehicle for wealth. And could things go wrong? Yeah, so I wouldn't bet my life on a year, but I bet you, because like where I'm at now, the acceleration, the compounding, I'm just seeing the game so clearly.
I'm sure you're a Rolodex of people that you can just call and like raise money, do something, invest.
It's second to none. Yeah, and honestly, you don't even need to raise money in today's world. That's the beauty of the internet. So I'm on this like Wi-Fi cowboy thing. I actually hate raising money because then you're responsible. You have to answer to other people, right? And I'm one. I want to run and gun. I want to do things my way. I want to fall on my sword if I have to. And that is the beauty of the internet. I started with Amazon, $3,000. It's a $30 million business. TikTok, same thing. My business partner was pumping me up the other day. He goes, Rob's that guy. We started, brand X. I'm not gonna say it on the stream. $100,000. It's a $50 million business. 2 years later.
You started with nothing. Mm-hmm. At what age did you become a millionaire?
I think on paper I was a millionaire at like 23. It was all in the Genius Brand account. Right. I used to not like take money personally, but or 24.
Say someone has $1,000 today and they want to turn it into $1 million.
Yep.
What's the fastest way for them to do that in 2025?
In 2025, they're gonna go learn how to do TikTok Shop affiliate content. This is gonna take them a month, maybe 2 months. You join Creators Corner, whatever. I'm not trying to pump anything, but you learn TikTok content and then you start a brand. And you use that same content to scale the fuck out of your brand, and you can make $1 million in a year.
And you don't even necessarily have to be a creator. In fact, like creators that aren't creators make more money. Regular people can make more money now.
Yeah,
stuff, right?
100%. You don't even influencer. Not, like half of these kids don't show their face. Yeah. It's like faceless content, and they're printing. And that's what people don't understand. I want people to see the world is changing. Yeah. Like all of it is changing. Influencers are losing steam, right? Like fitness. Who gives a shit about fitness influencers?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a single fitness influencer. That was like the Instagram era. Now it's regular people buying from regular people.
What skills does this regular person need to have to be successful?
To start?
Yeah.
None. There's got to be fucking relentless. And that's the thing. This is not talked about enough. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be gifted. If you just like don't quit, if you're persistent, because that's what they don't. You know this. Everyone in entrepreneurship knows this. You get knocked down time and time and time, and it doesn't stop. It continues at other levels. That's why you see people get their first exit, start again. They go, yeah, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
But it's that person just starting out that doesn't realize those are the hardest punches to take. Like, and if you eat those and keep going, you will be successful. You look at almost every story. People have gone through crazy fucking hurdles. There's this unrealistic expectation that you're gonna be a millionaire without having to go through the process of becoming a millionaire. It's painful. It's real. That's reality.
Right. What's something a person can do to not give up? Like, how do they get in that mindset of not giving up and staying motivated? Because it is so easy. Like, you get discouraged, you get 200 views. Like, if this video gets 5 views, I'll be like, oh. But I know I'm gonna keep going because I'm motivated. But
now this is key. And if you came up with like any sort of street backing, you'll feel this. Go to iTunes or Spotify. I want you to download Futures Never Stop, and I want you to put that shit on repeat. All right, just nonstop, religiously, every single morning. Yeah. That's my meditation, and that's like kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I really do think we can program. We program ourselves. We're more or less computers, and the information we feed to ourselves is what's ultimately going to determine our mindset, our shit. And then if you want to get more like practical on some psychology, there's a thing called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and they use this to treat depression. Basically, you learn to dissociate with negative thoughts. You apply this same concept, you realize you're not your thoughts, right? Because it happens. Negative shit creeps in. You identify that, detach from it, and move on. Like realize that's not you, it comes and goes, and you use that building like an iron mindset, and next thing you know, you're Elon Musk. I'm not gonna get too crazy, but you think about the pressure those guys handle, right? Or like a Trump or whatever. It's like, what are we complaining about on a daily basis, right? You have to build yourself into that character.
Why do you think so many people just have a hard time getting started, taking that first leap?
Look at the system we're in. We're indoctrinated with fear. We're like terrified of risk in a world where you literally, nothing can go wrong. You're allowed to take risks. You're allowed to do all this stuff, and for whatever reason, like logically, it makes no sense to not try. It makes like no sense. Like, worst case, what, you get fucking EBT and you like the government takes care of you. Why are you not trying? I don't understand. But that's the world we're in, because the system we're in, you're indoctrinated. Like from the beginning, you're taught to be inside the box. And then people who are outside of that are bastardized. Every single time, when you take risks, when you want to go do something new, you are inherently opening yourself up for ridicule, for attack. And that we're humans, we're wired, we want to be accepted. And so you have to be able to go against that. You have to be able to tolerate people talking shit about you. And that's what I want to stand for. Like in my brand. Like when I go into music, whatever, that's a huge risk for me. You know, I'll stick to business. No, fuck it. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Right? I'm gonna live the life I want to live. And I want other people to see that and realize that they can be whatever they want to be too.
I like that. Yeah, it's also like the people you surround yourself with. If you're surrounded by 5 people that work a 9-to-5 job, you're probably gonna also work a 9-to-5 job.
And you're gonna hear the same bullshit every day, and it's gonna be the same gossip, and it's just people living quiet lives of desperation, numbing themselves to fucking reality.
And I assume the people that are watching this video, they're tired of it. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't. This wouldn't even pop up on their algorithm.
Everyone is tired of it.
You know?
Everyone is fucking tired of it. That's why this content makes sense. And there's the people that go, oh, there's just another guy talking. And then there's people. I've come to realize I'm a reflection of other people. When they look at me and say, wow, that's awesome, I want to be able to do anything, or they go, oh, I got it. Like haters hate, and they'll live hated lives, like their entire life. It's a spiral. Yeah. But if you're bought into realizing that literally anything is possible, you become that. And again, I'm just trying to be a symbol of that. I want to be a reflection. It's the whole Kanye thing. If you're a fan of Kanye, you're a fan of yourself. You know?
There's no easy way to get rich.
With the internet, people are getting richer faster than ever. Yeah. Like actually, there's abundance fucking everywhere. The system is like set up for you to get rich. Period.
This is a sick house, bro. Did the house you grew up in look like this also, or no?
The house I grew up in looked nothing like this. I'm a long way away from home.
How did you grow up? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I have a very strange background. I grew up like upper middle class parents, but in the actual hood. Like I played basketball.
Yeah.
So I fought my parents on going to, like I had to go to the public school where the good team was. They sent me to private school for 1 year. I got kicked out. I have this crazy skill where I can hear a song and know every lyric. And I loved Eminem.
Yeah.
And it turns out rapping Eminem to the girls at Christian school in 7th grade, they don't like that. No. You know, you learn the hard way. Stan was a banger. But
hit me with some Eminem right now.
Oh, man. The lyrics that got me kicked out were, he had his wife in the back and she was pregnant with his kid. And in the car they found a tape, but they didn't say it was 2. Come to think about it, his name was, it was you. Damn.
Bars.
That's the last the principal ever heard from me, you know?
Were you always smart in school?
I fucking hate school. But I mean, to put it in perspective, I made a bet with my mom. I was like, you let me go to public school, I'll get a 4.0. And I did. Like I'm a man of my word. I keep that. The first year, she let me go, 4.0. Easy.
So high school, you got a 4.0?
My first year. Then I started doing Running Start, where you can go to like the community college and get credits. And I just kind of like winged it through that. You only have to go for 2 hours a day, and I just kind of did my thing.
Did you drop out of high school?
No, I graduated. I went to college. I played basketball. Like I just think it's pointless unless you're getting like hard skills. You know, I went to like I'm learning business management from. I don't know. I'm learning negotiation from this fat like crazy single teacher who like she thought she ran the school. She was like head of the marketing department. Mary Sass. I'll never forget her. And she's teaching me negotiation. And it's like, do you think that class helped me when I'm selling my business to private equity? Of course not. But she had every fucking by the book answer of how to win a car negotiation. I just went and I bought my motorcycle and I like was laughing about it. It was like me taking an extra 30 minutes to fight over $1,000 off the price here is literally not worth my time at this stage in my life. And Mary Sass always comes back to my mind, like what's wrong with her? But that is a broader component of how the world's fucked up right now, right? And how we're indoctrinated.
So what's one thing about business that they don't teach in school?
I don't think they teach you anything about business in school, especially in today's world because it's changing so dynamic. Things are happening faster and faster. What happens is someone like me or someone like Jimmy, they go out and they crack a new code. And then 10 years later, the professors put the theory together and put it in a book. And by the time it's in a book, the next kids are doing the next thing. People don't get that, but that's like very obviously how it happens. Like my cousin is a professor at NYU, marketing professor. He's a very smart guy.
Right.
He can make sense of the things I do. He cannot think of the things I do and put them into action.
He just analyzes already what's
Exactly,
happening.
and comes up with a theory and puts it in a textbook and teaches it to a class by the time it's too late.
You got to move fast in this world too.
You have to. And it's literally moving faster and faster because of technology, because like all of that stuff is accelerating. Yeah. And so if you don't have your finger on the pulse, if you're not real time in the world, in the mix, you're getting left behind.
What are the top 3 skills you're good at? What would you say you're the best at?
I think I'm the best in the world at marketing, like period. And I think double, triple, quadrupling down on the things you're good at are what matters. Like I have a lot of other hard skills. Like I know biz ops. Like I know basic accounting. I'm not an accountant, but you kind of sharpen your tool chest. But I think honing in on the thing that makes you and staying at that, everything in life compounds.
Were you always good at marketing, or how did you know like that you were the best? Like
I started to realize that when I was building Genius Brand. Like that was very obviously my skill. I had to do everything in the early stages. Like I had to hire, I had to manage. Like I'm a pretty good, good emotional leader. Yeah. But you start to realize like where the money's being made, right? And like for me, it was very clearly like, oh, I have this marketing edge. I know how to talk to people. I know how to put a product in front of people. And then you start seeing how that translates. And it just comes back to like pattern disruption. And we're all wired like in a unique way. And that was one of my things.
But there's so many people that like do marketing, but like what makes you different than all those people, all those marketing majors, all those people working at agencies and marketing, corporate, like what makes you stand out?
Results. It's like, can you put numbers on the board, right? And it's just like, that's the cool part about marketing. It's risk taking. It's not existing within the current framework. Like that's what the best marketers do. Yeah. Everyone else is like a button pusher or an executor, right? You have like agencies most agencies are trash. Like I very rarely hire agencies because if they were good at it, they'd be doing it themselves. Yeah. Like period. If you were a good agency, you would be building the enterprise value, not doing it for someone. Like well, why would you go make someone else money? You know what I mean? Like if you're that good at making money, like go make the fucking money. And so, yeah.
Why are so many people like trapped in that world where they just don't want to make money for themselves? It's easier is it just stability, you think? Not everyone's like, is everyone wired for this kind of life? Is this entrepreneurship life cut out for everyone?
It's a construct of society that teaches us to think about stability. I'm going to put you on like a crazy concept, like a really crazy concept. We have extreme debt in the in the world, right? The global debt is several $1 trillion. And there's like a school of thought that's bad. We're in debt. We're not good. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they are like, how much debt did Elon take to acquire Twitter? Like a shit ton of debt. Yeah. What if debt is actually a function of the system? What if debt is actually rewarded? What if the more debt you can get in, the more wealth you actually build? That's a super contrarian take that I just recently have come to appreciate. But what if debt actually, we're not going to get out of debt. What if that actually is a function of wealth in the current system as it exists today?
Can you elaborate on that? Give an example, like a tangible example of that.
Twitter. Yeah. Like he acquired Twitter. Like assets appreciate, right? Just in general, assets appreciate. To acquire big assets, you need debt. Sam Walton's son, Rob Walton, acquires the Denver Broncos, $5 billion. He puts down $1 billion. He has $4 billion in debt. He now owns a $5 billion asset. You zoom out 10 years, the Broncos will probably be worth $10 billion. He'll still owe $4 billion. That's why that's this function of this system. Now, who has balls? Who wants to get in debt, right? Debt bad. Yeah. Debt cripple you. Debt bankruptcy, right? All this stuff. And the truth, like I've had a business. We ran it up. We're doing $30 million a year. We have an unsecured line of credit to grow it further. And some bad shit happened. And that business owes $4 million. It's going to go under. It's not my problem. That is the game and the world we exist in. And that's financial engineering. And that's like, this is all like brand new concepts.
They don't teach this in school.
They absolutely don't teach this in school. Yeah. This is that niche dark side of YouTube and Reddit. This is those.
You're in the trenches. You're in the trenches.
Yeah, in the real trenches.
Tell me about what's like a time that you failed, like in the business world.
I failed a lot of times. Probably my most recent, like pretty big one was I chased a trend. I really believe you should do things you're interested in. And keto was blowing up in like 2020. Everyone's doing keto, and it's another reason why you shouldn't. Like envy's a bitch. Yeah. I had a friend blowing up a keto company. Kind of now he's a friend. He was like a competitor at the time. Yeah. I'm like, I can't believe this dude getting that rich. So I'm like, and I'm a better marketer. He's got, this brand. I started Smart Cookies. And I'm like, I'm long story short, I burned $500,000 to get this thing off the ground. Food online doesn't make sense. Like people were ordering food online during COVID. Right. That goes away. All of a sudden people aren't buying and keto falls out of favor. And so like that, I lit that money on fire.
So don't chase trends. So just do something you're passionate about.
Do something you're passionate about and do it for you, right? Like I did that for the wrong reason too. I'm seeing someone else get rich, and everyone falls into that. Like everyone looks around, oh, this guy's doing that.
Probably looking at your brands, being like, oh, I should copy Rob the Bank.
There's been people who have joined and literally launched like Kingmaker 2.0, and like it doesn't do well, and they're like, well, I did exactly what you did. I'm like, well, but why? And like and now you're late. And now it's like it doesn't make sense.
You're so good at like spotting the trends. Like how do you spot the trends? How do you see what's coming?
You gotta have your finger on the pulse. You gotta be an observer and not a consumer. We're all on social media every day. Everyone is.
Doom scrolling.
And the second you shift your brain to being an observer of the actual content and not just consuming it, you're gonna notice like people are making money on there every single day.
Yeah, you're just scrolling, they're making money off you scrolling.
Exactly. And if you're not observing why they're making money, then you are the product, right? And so I see the flip side of that. Social media is beautiful. It's like a gold mine.
Yeah. So when you're sitting there, you're on your phone, you're not just like, it's not entertainment for you. You're scrolling with a purpose, basically. Yeah. Like that's how you get the knowledge.
I wake up not every morning, but I like to set 30 minutes where I'm just going through, and you can program the algorithm too. Yeah. You like the stuff you want to see more of, like and you just go. We're all fed stuff every day, and someone's making money off it. That's the model.
What's the easiest way to make money in 2025?
I think there's infinite fucking ways to make money. Like I don't even, it's like, obviously I do the TikTok thing. I think it prints. I think being an affiliate or building a brand there is like about as easy as it comes.
If you had only like $1,000 to your name.
That's what I do. I would go make the affiliate content.
Yeah.
I was just with a kid in his third month. He made $175,000. I had to get his bank account out and check it myself because I thought, like, I personally paid kids like 40, 50 grand. I had to see, he made $175,000 in a month. I was just like, third month. He was like a normal server before that.
Was there something about his videos that you're like, okay, he's got it, he's talented, or he understood something?
The thing that stood out with him is that in those 2 months prior, he made several videos every single day. Like he wasn't discouraged, he didn't stop. Because I do see people that do it and like, throw a couple things up. I'm like, why am I not getting paid? No, like he was like actually relentless and actually decided he's gonna get rich. And then you watch the video that printed and like, yeah, it was good. But it wasn't like any, like it's
not like mind blowing.
No, he's not like he's a regular looking dude and you're just like, wow, good for him.
That's crazy, yeah. Because anyone can be a creator right now. It's very
Literally
easy.
Anyone.
It's very easy. If you're starting a brand new social account and your goal is to grow followers, what's the best way to do that?
Break the algorithm. You have to be fundamentally disruptive. Because if you look close enough, you'll see people doing this. You'll see like, hey, this is how I grew 40,000 followers in 6 months or whatever. And again, it is hard. Like it's not easy, but you have to test stuff with the intention of pattern disruption. It's actually an interesting world we're moving into because people are catching on to this. And so what's happening? People are getting more and more brazen with pattern disruption. Like intense shit becomes normalized. That's the crazy thing about humans. We revert to the mean, right? So like something could be crazy one day and then all of a sudden, no, that's just normal.
That's just normal
and
content.
It's not even relevant anymore.
What's an example of disruptive content you've seen recently?
White people saying the N-word on Twitter.
That's crazy.
Sorry. That's definitely like, my bad.
In terms of content, like what do you think is a thumb-stopping piece of content right now? What can someone do to make a disruptive video? Is it just the way it's filmed? Is it the things you say?
You know, an interesting one is the ASMR stuff. And I don't know, it's like autistic people love it or something. I don't know.
So ASMR could be an
it's full blown. Another one is that it's like the Hope Core, where like a serious piece of advice and then it just trails off into like I had one rip. It's like, number one piece of business advice I can give for you: hire the most autistic person you know. And it just goes into like, calming woods with like a weird sound, and it gets like funnier and funnier.
What do you think is next, like 2026 even? Like where do you see social media going? Where do you see the trends going?
Seriously, I think all of the trends are started and executed by like highly autistic people. I'm serious. I'm dead serious with this. Like everything that's worked super well for me on my stuff has been from, I got this secret weapon. His name's Gabe. He nonverbal in a room with more than 3 people. Like period. You put him in there and you say go viral and he'll come up with like the craziest, like Kanye West got rich by marketing to people's insecurities. This is how you're gonna build your brand. And it just goes nuclear. So I don't know the answer, but I keep coming back to hire the most autistic person you know. And that right there, what we just did, would also be a Hope Core.
What's your best piece of business advice?
Number one piece of business advice that I can give to anyone: hire the most autistic person that you fucking know. This gentleman back here, nonverbal in a room full of 4. I'll bring him in here, he won't be able to speak. He knows how to print. Autism, alchemy for gold. You put autism in the trenches of e-com, it prints. And people just are like afraid of this, where people are afraid to say it. It's a superpower, bro. Like the world is created, especially the digital world, like it's run off like Adderall and nicotine. You take those people, you put them in a room, they don't need to see the sun anyway, and they create magic. I talk about this all the time. Like my generation in particular, we all had a couple bad vaccines, you know, and like people are afraid of that. It makes them weird. The truth is, you lean into that, it's magic.
Comment autism and we'll send you the blueprint. How much does style and your look play into everything?
I think it's everything. Like you're a brand, I'm a brand. It's those who are willing to like consciously think about it. At the end of the day, like how you look matters, and that's been taboo to say. But again, you look at the people that do well, like they're either identifiable or they have something. You know, there's all sorts of studies on that too. Like the better you look, often the more you get paid. And so consciously being about that, for me, it comes like I love branding, so it's a constant experiment. There's constant iterations. There's constant evolution. Like how I look today is a representation of where I'm at in life, and like that should constantly evolve, right?
What did you look like before?
Well, we just graduated the Drake era. You know, that was a very successful run where we had the braids and you know, leaned into a particular style, and it works. And I think the more you pull inspiration from different avenues, and like the more you're willing to experiment, the more you start figuring it out. And at the center of that, like it's like, who are you? And like I joke about that, like the Drake era, because that was like, it was like in parallel with like, you end up with too many Drake girls, and you're like, oh shit, we got the Harley coming, probably start riding some horses. The cowboy hat's a good thing. It's always been like an alter ego of mine. I think this year it's just time to full fucking send it.
How important is personal brand right now? Just for people, like does everyone have a personal brand? Is it important for a person to develop a personal brand to become successful right now?
Everyone is a personal brand, period. How much time and effort you put on that is a different question. So I have a friend worth several $100 million. He does not need to be making content, but his Instagram feed still is very much a representation of him. Can he make that look aesthetically solid with 6 photo dumps? Like absolutely, because it is real life. Like this stuff actually translates to, you know, the last year I was making what you'd call like rich asshole content. And in a lot of ways that really isn't me. I just found like that work, oh, I have a nice watch, I talk about it, it goes viral. And then what I realized is that was actually impacting relationships in my real life. Like that same friend, he was like, man, and then we'll spend time together. He's like, oh yeah, no, I forget you're not really like that. But they like, you see that all day, and like it actually has an actual impact. So everyone needs to take that for like truth. We're moving into what's called hyper reality, where digital is blending with real life, and all of this stuff like has an actual, you can influence people by the content you put out. Like no joke. I mean the Drake joke again, right? Like you model enough photo dumps off the Drake stuff and you do whatever, like you actually end up with like way too many OVO fangirls in your DMs. So, you know, like, I'm not, it's not, that's reality. It's not cool. I mean, some people might think it's cool, like I don't. I was like kind of grossed out by it. Yeah.
No, so you're very strategic with the way you present yourself, what the kind of content you put out right now.
Always.
You make it look easy though.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. No, it's a full-time job.
But in my intent too, with all of it, like I want to dent culture. Like I want to have a broader impact that, you know, supersedes business. And so every move needs to be thought through, and it needs to be mapped out, and it needs to be, you know, executed on, right? So and this is another piece of advice I like for people. You stay super firm on the vision, but then you're really flexible on the details. And that's an old Bezos quote, where it's like, because the world's so dynamic, because algorithms change, because platforms change. We didn't have TikTok a couple years ago. You can stay true to what you want to be, but understanding the journey there might not be exactly how you map it out, right? So flexible on the details, super firm on the vision.
And does everyone have the potential to be successful?
Of course.
Is there like a sort of mindset shift that you have to go through to become successful?
It's tough for me to answer that without defining. Success is personal.
Sure. What does success mean to you?
Success is living to your finding like your purpose and executing on it. And that's again like a very broad answer. I think life is meaningless personally. There's that story always, Sisyphus, what did the Greek god do? He gets condemned to carrying a stone up a hill. The Greek Zeus condemns him to lifting a stone up a hill, and every time he gets to the top of the hill, the stone falls back down. He has to go pick up the stone again and do it again for all of eternity. And the last line is, at least he appears happy. And there's a lot of different ways to interpret that, but the point is you have to ascribe meaning to carrying the stone up the hill. I don't necessarily believe in like happiness being the purpose to life. I think you should find a way to enjoy it. I think all of that stuff is unlocked when you're living in alignment with like what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. And so now if we go all the way back to success, I feel like so many people are pulled out of that because they're living for other people's expectations. Parents, girlfriend, whatever, their life molds into other people's expectations for them. And they find the ability to go through it, but they're not living like to their fullest, going for whatever it is they thought they should be doing, right? And some people have that level of artistry. Some people have, like, they know they should be doing something, but they haven't. And they just find contentment in day-to-day life, and that's why you see so many numbing agents, TV, like, so many drugs, like so many numbing agents just bringing people to exist.
Why do you think so? Yeah, so many people are just stuck in that 9 to 5. They come home, get the food, they watch TV, and then repeat. Then Fridays they go out, Saturdays they have brunch, watch a game, and it's just like weeks go by so fast. I feel like time flies, and maybe they have that idea in the back of their head. They want to start a business, and they just never do it.
They're fed into a machine from day one. I mean, from how we're taught about money to how we're taught about risk. Like I said that earlier, like there's no downside even in America. It's like there's bankruptcy laws and there's like a very high floor of well-being, and yet people are still afraid. And it ties back to that social conditioning of like, because you care about what people think. How many people don't leave their hometown?
That's true.
And still care about what the other, 40-year-old dude who didn't do anything thinks, right? It's like this just vicious cycle where you see a pattern with the young kids nowadays. It's like when they go, like, I don't think Miami's the best place, but you see when kids pick up from fucking Arkansas or Ohio and move to Miami, you
Miami
see an
effect. Miami effect.
And that's like a real thing. And it's not a real thing because of Miami. It's a real thing because they got out of their hometown bubble. Even for me, born and raised in Seattle, was relatively introverted. Like that served me super well. I was able to build my business in my little bubble, all with the internet, and like not talk to many people. But then when I moved to Puerto Rico, it just like shattered things for me. That's why I started doing content.
Is it because you saw other people around you that were doing the same thing? Like, oh, I can do that. That's not that hard.
Honestly, I think the fact I was so far away from home and no longer cared, like even for me, people always thought I never give a fuck, and like it was taken to another element when all of a sudden I was like that far away. And then I remember I started posting TikToks and started taking the TikTok or content thing seriously. And I go home that summer, and my dad was like, I hope you don't take your own shit seriously. I was like, whoa, that's kind of, and I stopped for a little bit, and that was like one of my biggest regrets. Like I kind of missed that early TikTok window because my parents, like you kids want to do well by their parents, and at a certain point you don't realize like how toxic that is, right? And it's like you're always getting it from all different angles of people's expectations. They're always feeding you, and so you have to constantly train yourself to live for you, to pour into you, to love you. And the more you do that, the stronger it gets. But it's a constant practice, because even now you're worth 100 million, but you care what the billionaire thinks, right? Or you're trying to do business there, but so it still affects you. And I just think the most concrete piece of advice you can give is live unapologetically for you. Like you have to love you. And that attracts the right people, and that opens the right doors, and that brings alignment, and that enables a life that you actually want to live.
If you don't believe in yourself, then who else will,
Amen.
Yeah. So there were times where you didn't believe in yourself, where you had that self-doubt. How did you overcome that?
Oh, self-doubt is an ongoing thing.
Yeah. Even now you doubt yourself sometimes?
Well, of course. Like if I want to go do something, but I think it's important to seek out that discomfort.
Yeah.
There is always discomfort. That's why someone like people don't appreciate the greatness of Kanye, regardless of where he's at today. If you go back and you look at the actual time periods, to go from like, he had a very concrete formula. He's coming off Graduation, like one of the most successful hip hop albums of all time. And he goes and starts singing auto-tune over 808 drums. And like people ridiculed it at the time, and then it pioneered a whole new fucking sound. Drake says there's no Drake without Kanye West. And those are the ones who, that takes a serious, because now he's even on a higher stage. Everyone knows his name. It's like, what is this album, right? And then, it's just like, think about this. Then you have that, and you black out on stage, you go take the mic from Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you get called a jackass by the president of the United States, like literally as embarrassed as you could be, this crash out, drunk, goes in hiding for a year, comes back at the same show, grabs the mic, and debuts Runaway, a singing toast to the douchebags. And it's just so good, people can't help but just like, damn, he's him. And I just think there's like a running clip, Elon Musk, you inspire everyone in this room, right? Like you've done rockets, who inspires you? He goes, Kanye West, of course. And everyone bursts out laughing, but there's something to be said for that, right? It's just that like fearless ability to take risks and understanding that it's not always going to hit. Sometimes it's going to blow up in your face. Sometimes people are going to, say you're a loser. Sometimes this, sometimes that. But I think seeking out that fear, seeking out that discomfort, we all know discomfort and pain is growth, period. And so having that in you to go seek it out and hurt and be open to ridicule and do something new, that is what makes your life more and more and more and more.
And did your life change when you started making from 1 million to 10 million? Like, how did your life change? Did the 1 million hit different than the 10?
I think the more I've become disconnected from money and the more I've like pursued things I'm interested in, the better my life has actually been. And I've kind of observed this around like
it's just a number on the screen at this point.
It's a number on the screen, and there's just like so much more to it than money. I know so many people. I'm in Aspen.
Yeah.
At this, it's a billionaire event. I've been to the billionaire circuit thing, St. Bart's too, and there's so many people in there with a shit ton of money that I would never in a million years trade lives with. ever. And that's this whole life maxing component. I want you to live a well-rounded life with like different skills and interests and hobbies. And I see all these people like generally unhappy with a shit ton of money and going there, and like some of them, I've like, man, your life's so cool. It's like I'm working in all of those avenues, and the money will come. I think as long as you're working, like eventually your worth catches up to your work. But worth is all relative. Worth is measurable in so many ways, right? Who are you to X, Y, and Z? That stuff matters, but it just extends beyond money. So I can't say it's more my perspective has changed versus the actual net worth going up. Once you're at a certain point financially, you're in these worlds,
Yeah. What would you say billionaires are doing differently than millionaires?
They just have an ability to tolerate stress and understand risk. Like there's a dissociation from the minute day-to-day stuff that stresses out most people.
Would you want to become a billionaire?
I think whatever's like written will happen, and you just have to you have to find that alignment and keep living your purpose. It's more about like influence and reach versus actual money. It's like sometimes that's a proxy for power, sometimes it's a proxy for self-worth. And I try to dissociate from that actual like number. It's a recipe for discontentment.
That's fire, bro. Why Puerto Rico?
Rich people don't pay tax, period. There's this clip about Iman Gadzhi talking about, the benefits of living in Dubai. Most people don't understand that as a U.S. citizen, if you are a U.S. citizen, this is the only place that you can legally not pay tax. You go to Dubai as an American, you still file global taxation. It's crazy.
What line of business are you in?
At this point, I'm in the empire building business. All sorts of things related to Wi-Fi money. So I started in consumer products, building brands on Amazon and TikTok Shop. My personal brand is spinning into it's really like a media business. We're trying to take that to music and just really anything digital at this point. I don't like the whole like labels. I'm trying to shake all that.
Wi-Fi cowboy.
Wi-Fi cowboy.
What's the most amount of money you made in a single day?
Just over $30 million when I was 26 years old. I sold my Amazon FBA brands to private equity.
30 million.
$30 motherfucking million. And the crazy part is, I'm realizing at 32, that ain't that much money.
What's your best piece of marketing advice?
Learn the rules to the game and then break it. Bottom line, don't do what everyone else is doing. You want to be different, you want to stand out, you have to be willing to push the limits, you have to be willing to take risks, you have to be willing to be embarrassed. Most people aren't willing to do that. Got to be willing to do what most people aren't willing to do.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
See, the nice part about the internet is people have really short memories, and so you just don't bring it up again. I've never done anything embarrassing.
What's the best way to turn $100 into 1 million in 1 year?
I'll do it for you in like a week. Go buy Diddy Coin. Take everything you got, all in. I'm just kidding. Listen, we're in the middle of a TikTok Shop gold rush. It's just like Amazon FBA for me, except now we're in 2025. There exist these windows in time where everything changes, and there's the ability for people with no previous skills to make a shit ton of money. TikTok is that right now. You can start as an affiliate, you can learn the skills, and then you have to build a real business with enterprise value. That's building and launching your own brand, your own product. You can use TikTok to scale. I've had businesses go from 0 to 20 plus million in a single year. Now is the fucking time.
What's your secret to success?
Spot the right opportunities and go all fucking in. Fuck shiny object syndrome. Fuck what other people are doing. Once you see something that's working, once you see where the money's being made, tune everything out. Don't worry about appearances. Don't worry about social media. Like, just go. Get to the money. Find that. Everything else solves itself.
So like shorten the gap between ideation and execution.
Execution is everything. Like, people have all these different ideas of how to get rich. It's nothing more than mental masturbation. At the end of the day, there's a million ways to make $1 million, and it just comes down to who's willing to do the work and actually execute.
What makes you driven? What gives you the drive to work hard every day?
I look around at all the beautiful things life has to offer, and I realize that those are available to quite literally anyone and everyone, right? I wasn't born driving a golf cart, but here I am, St. Bart's, the table away from Jeff Bezos. Here I am, Aspen, billionaires all around me. What people need to understand is that we can literally create our reality. But the center of that is hard work. You have to work way more than you hope, right? You talk about manifestation, being magnetic, all of this stuff. It comes through the work. It comes through the execution, and I just live and breathe that. What else should I be doing?
Do you think everyone can be an entrepreneur?
I think absolutely everyone has it in them to be an entrepreneur. I think inherently we're all survivalists as humans, biologically wired to survive. And so that's hijacked. It's manipulated in society through other entrepreneurs, right? That are using you as a means for their thriving. Instead, reject all of that, and you'd be surprised at what kind of survivalist instincts you have to actually make it happen, to actually keep food on the table, to actually build something. We're all biologically wired like that. It's indisputable.
Did you always know you were going to be successful?
Eugene, what color is this shirt?
Black.
Just like this shirt is black, you're certain, right?
Yeah.
All right, certainty bends reality. Just like this shirt is black, I knew I was going to be successful my entire fucking life. And I think that's what it requires.